So one of the strange things with this no start issue is we're not even getting a dome light. And when I get in and put the key in, I mean, absolutely nothing. This negative terminal is really corroded, so I'm going to actually loosen that up. Maybe just cleaning that up will give a better ground and it will start. Looking at the negative connection or the cable, it's actually two cables. If we peel back some of this tape, you can kind of see it a little bit more over here. There's a thinner cable on top and there's a thicker gauge wire below. It ends up getting sort of taped together with the positive side of the harness, so we'll have to clean that up, take that apart. At one point over here, part of it splits off, the smaller cable splits off and grounds to the body, and then the other end of it continues down over here and grounds on the engine. So our new cable should be similar. What we'll do is we'll remove both end grounding points. I'm going to remove the grounding point here and here at the body, and then we'll just install our new cable so we can test it quickly. And if we get a good result and are able to start the car, then I will work to separate the old cable from the rest of the harness so we have a cleaner installation. So let's get into it. Alright, so our ground at the body is a 10mm bolt. I'll just hold this carefully so I don't drop anything. Alright, so that's all that is. I'm gonna clean this thoroughly before we put the new one back in place. Alright, so a couple things to point out. I did remove the plastic engine cover. My Subaru Outback is a 3.6 liter engine, but the sort of basics of this would be the same on the 2.5. You would still have either a body mount or a chassis, body ground or a chassis ground, and a ground to the engine. So on this engine ground, I've got a longer extension and a 12mm socket. It's just a little bit further reach. Didn't take much to break it loose. And of course I dropped it. Alright, hopefully we can pick that up. Yep, got it. Just dropped in right by the starter. Alright, so we should be fully disconnected from the ground. I'll move that out of the way. I'll move this other one out of the way. And we should be able to install what I bought. Here's our new negative battery cable that I bought from O'Reilly. You can see part number down there. It's 3 foot length. I believe it should give us enough to reach from the terminal to both our body ground and our engine ground. This was, like I said, I think it was $29.99, which is significantly cheaper than buying the full harness, which would have included the positive side of the battery. So let's get this installed and see if it fixes our problem. Fingers crossed. So last week, after replacing the negative side of our battery terminals, the bad battery cable led to a failed Optima battery. I dropped in this Odyssey battery, group 34, from my Jeep XJ, and just temporarily to get the car back running, but it's just not very sturdy in here, so I want to build a better mount for it. And along with that, I'm just going to keep this battery in the car and order a new battery for the Jeep. So this is the flimsy plastic tray that kind of the battery sat in originally, the original battery, and my Optima that I've had in here for many years. It just locates into the sheet metal with these, you can see them, these little cups that are molded in. You know, just drops in there, and kind of the weight of the battery kind of holds it and locates it that way, but it's honestly, it's not that sturdy. So we're going to try and do better than that. So this is the area we're working with. I'm going to just wipe it down a little bit, get any dirt out of there, and then it'd be super cool if some of these existing holes, we could use them without having to drill any new holes. So we'll try and see if we get lucky. It's going to be tough to get. It's going to be tough to get a wrench in here to get a nut onto some of these bolts. I can kind of reach under from the front. I don't really have access from the back. This is going to be a challenge. May have to pivot a little bit on how we mount our tray, but let's see how we do. From it. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right, once again, a shop vac, something you should have. Okay, so I'll have 3 solid mounting points, which I think should be super sturdy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove some clips around the bottom of the front bumper so that we can move this panel. Hopefully just kind of bend it out of our way. It's really flimsy plastic, pretty rubbery actually, so I don't think we'll break it. And then we'll try and remove the bottom of the washer bottle, which should give us access from the bottom to get sockets where we need to tighten that up. This would be amazing if I had a lift, but got these 3 clips out, which allows us to pull this out of the way and get access to the bottom of our washer bottle. And we're going to unhook that and see if we can move it out of our way. I think there's 2 bolts, one on either side. You can see one of them in the frame right now. Wish me luck. Okay, I've got to drill another hole. This hole right here, even though it lines up nicely, it's just too close to like a gusset in the sheet metal, so I can't get a nut on it from the bottom. It's just gonna, I would just totally destroy some structure if I did that. So I'm gonna try and pop another hole here so I have 3 connection points, and from underneath, now that the washer bottle's out of the way, it looks like that should clear. Just a matter of whether or not I can get the drill in there to do what I need it to do. And of course I went crooked. Should have punched that first. Maybe I can punch it now and then try again. Okay, we're all bolted up. It was a 2-person job. I actually had to have my wife come out and hold these bolts from the top while I torqued them down from underneath. But I've got 3 really solid mounting points. This is going to be like 1,000 times more secure than the battery ever was stock, and it's important because it's a heavier, bigger battery. So now I'm just going to drop the Odyssey battery back in and make sure we've got everything aligned. So with the larger format battery, we've got both more cranking amps, cold cranking amps, and overall reserve capacity. So if we're out camping and we leave the back hatch open for a few hours, I'm not going to kill the battery. So I've got new stainless steel J-hook bolts with washers and lock nuts and nuts. Got a black anodized hold down. Just looks a little fancier than the stock unit that was kind of corroded and starting to rust.